Hello, and welcome to the 60 for 30 project. I am sitting here with Diana and Diego Villalobos. How are you two doing today?
Doing well.
Doing good, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for sitting down with me. So let's get started. So what areas of Kenosha are you from, or did you grow up in? And if not Kenosha, feel free to say where you grew up. Diana, I want to start with you.
I was actually born in Waukegan, Illinois, and when I was, I think, 11 years old, my parents brought us here, actually to Summers, Wisconsin. It's quite a bit a ways outside of the city, I guess you would say.
Mm-hmm.
Summers, Wisconsin. I went to Summers Elementary School. I actually lived on what's now called Old Green Bay Road, so it's kind of county out there.
Yep.
Pretty county out there.
Okay.
Originally, I'm from Costa Rica, and I immigrated to Kenosha in 1990. I was 10 years old, and I grew up in the Columbus neighborhood in Kenosha.
All right. Good to hear. So, how have you experienced Kenosha's culture, or what is Kenosha's culture to you? Diego, we'll start with you this time.
Kenosha has a lot of different culture. Speaking from personal experiences, we've experienced a lot of diversity, and there seems to be a lot of a different kind of culture in Kenosha. We got a lot of folks that are moving in. When I first moved to Kenosha back in '90, it wasn't as diverse as it is now. Mm-hmm. It was a little more conservative, than it is now. Sure. We're in the event business, and actually I DJ. I've been DJing in Kenosha for many years, and Latin music happens to be one of our, kind of like it's our roots. It's something that we grew up with and something that we know, and we feel that we have a little bit of a part in kind of bringing that culture of Latin music to Kenosha. We do a lot of events, we do a lot of public venues and that such a thing. So professionally speaking, when we first started playing out, again here in Kenosha, because this is where we made our career is here in Kenosha. It was lighter, and it's been picking up more and more as we go. Same with the restaurants, the food, the neighborhoods. You see it out in the street. So absolutely, Kenosha's been really nice to us. It's been really good to us. It's a beautiful city, a lot of parks, very family oriented. The schools are great here. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and elaborate if you can.
I don't know. I think that was pretty good.
Awesome. So the '90s, it was more conservative though. So how has that shifted over time, and what has that been like for you?
I can say from experience of moving from Waukegan, Illinois, which was completely diverse, like all races. On my block, I lived on 101 Philippa, and we had people from all over the world, literally, like people from El Salvador, Colombia. We had some African American, a couple families. We had Yugoslavian families. We had Asian families, all in one block, and that's what I grew up knowing. So to me, when I came to Summers, I was the only Hispanic person in the whole school. There was one other African American kid.
The whole school.
The whole school, and I'm half Hispanic, and it was a little bit of like a culture shock, kind of, because I went to a school that they celebrated diversity. Mm-hmm. We had a lot of like events where we would eat each other's food, and see like different dances and things like that. And when I came here, I didn't see any of that really. But yeah, when I started going to schools, I think in the city more, I started to see a little bit more diversity, but out in the county there, like none. Not back in the '90s.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the '90s. To me, it was a huge culture shock. Mm-hmm. I came from a country. It's a farm town. Spoke nothing but Spanish, and we ended up landing in O'Hare Airport with all the buildings and the cars and the highways, and to me it was crazy. It definitely took a couple years to adjust. luckily, the Kenosha community itself has been just awesome with us. We had I remember we lived in this upstairs, like a duplex, and the downstairs neighbors, it was this Puerto Rican family. We still talk to them to this day. Actually, our kids
They're
are
good
friends with
friends.
their kids. And they kind of they took us under their wings and they showed us around and they showed us a lot of love and helped us out and all that. Just to kind of elaborate a little bit on the experiences as a kid. Now as a kid growing up in elementary and that it was a little bit tough. I'm not gonna lie. It was a little bit tough because we were what was called the bilingual program.
Mm-hmm.
So they used to bus us out to Jeffrey School. And we kind of felt out of place.
Put it in separate classes.
You can't help but to feel a certain way. It was a little tough, but what made it easy for us, or what made us get through it was like the teachers. Mr. Palacios being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people know him. The education system in Kenosha is good, it's strong, it's solid. We put our kids through like Bain, Upsola, and Bullen. I went to Washington, but she's Bullen. Bradford, Gateway. Jelly will be going to Parkside, hopefully. So the education system is strong, and if you search for an outlet, you'll find it. Doesn't really like your social status. Even if you're like
low income or
what have you. You just got to be a little motivated, and Kenosha does have, or they do offer programs and that kind of stuff. I feel, again, I think it's been a good city.
Yeah, so you've had experiences of great camaraderie, just with your downstairs neighbors you're still friends with, which is great. I love that story. And then also the school systems treated you mostly well. I kind of want to ask about the bilingual program. So you were taken to a separate school with separate classes for that? So
we lived again in the Columbus neighborhood, the inner city of Kenosha.
Okay.
And it was just the way it was set up, man. At the time, the Latin community wasn't as strong as it is now, right? So I maybe it was just a way for them to kind of organize everything, and then but they used to. It was weird because they bust us out to the south side to Jeffrey, and
far away from your neighborhood.
Far away from our neighborhood, and a lot of the kids that went to that school, we couldn't relate to them, because
they weren't inner city kids.
Right, we were inner city kids, and that's what we knew. Once we got to Washington, it started being like, okay, the Lincoln kids, Washington kids, and all of that. But that seemed a little strange. They did fix it though. Eventually, they built the Bain School of Language, and they brought a lot of the educators to that school, and our kids actually went to it, and it has its flaws. It's definitely not perfect.
I was going to say, my
perfect.
son, actually, my oldest son is 22 now, and he was the first, one of the first class of Edward Bain School of Language and Art.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
So you've seen change over time that would have been, been good experiences for you all to have, but for your kids in Kenosha.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we talked about, the past. We were talking about the 90s. How about today? What do you see in Kenosha that has been keeping you here all this time?
Relationships, I'd say, with people here. Very down-to-earth people that live here. Hard workers. Our business, we've had so much support over the years.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We've been doing this for 20 plus years now, and our network has just grown tremendously.
Yeah. The music
in Kenosha and surrounding areas.
The music community is very strong in Kenosha.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, and very tight.
Yep.
We all know each other. We've known each other for years. A lot of the musicians and the DJs.
Tight, and at the same time, we're very open and welcoming to new acts. You know what I mean? We love going around town and watching the local music scene and all that.
Absolutely, yeah. Now everything's opening back up in that, and definitely with the DJs. We've been doing this for so long that we have a very strong connection, not only with the Kenosha DJs and musicians, but also some of the Lake County guys and the Chicago. That's another thing about Kenosha. We were so close to to Chicago.
In between Milwaukee and
at the
Chicago.
same time, you got Milwaukee right there.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of traffic. You know, it's a good city for musicians and entertainers and that type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And downtown is growing too. So
Yeah, and the art scene is growing.
I do have to say though, there isn't, as far as the nightlife goes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, talking professionally, DJs and that. I wish that there would be a little more diversity in that. There seems to be a lot of pubs. The breweries are really nice. You know, we're starting to grow more in that kind of thing.
There's so many bars.
Which
in
is
Kenosha.
a lot to do with the Kenosha culture. You know, it's German. You know, the cheese curds and
Yeah.
and the beer. And I love it. Absolutely do.
Yep.
But I wish that there would be a little more. You know, maybe a couple. I don't know, Latin or maybe Jamaican or something. You know. That they really don't offer that when it comes to the nightlife around here. You would have to go to Illinois,
like a reggae
or-
club. Ooh, that would be so
or
cool.
to Milwaukee. Yeah, just a little kind of mix up the vibe and that. And a lot of times that happens with us. You know, we tend to book out in different cities. You know, we do try to throw shows here in our city. Like for instance, we have a DJ festival, Midwest Mix Fest. On the 31st of this month at TG's bar, which we love.
Shameless plug.
Yep. Yep.
I also do graphic design.
She's a marketer. She made the shirt for me. Anyway, so we try to, bring a little of that flavor to our city.
Yep.
But again, like last weekend we were in Lake County, and this weekend actually we'll be at Icon, which is local.
Yeah.
And they do a phenomenal job over there with diversity and,
Oh, yeah.
and all kinds of stuff.
Inclusion and all that good stuff.
Yeah, but as far as like downtown, inner city Kenosha, there's only a couple spots, not as much choices as personally I would like to have for that.
Yeah. So for your business, you've been successful here, but you'd like to see more almost like entertainment areas that are more diverse.
Right, exactly. More guided towards like DJs or some. I
I'm
don't want to call it urban
I'm
music.
starting to see more though. You see
Yeah,
more
but-
blues music, and you didn't
there's-
really see a lot of blues music back in the 90s.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
Kenosha,
In
but-
Waukegan, totally. Like, I was used to seeing that, but not around here.
right. Yeah, that would be nice.
I love blues.
So growing a business here in Kenosha, you've said you're between Chicago, you're between Milwaukee, and those have been pulls for people, for forever. Just because big cities, big opportunities, and you've been successful in Kenosha. How has that felt? Just growing your business, gaining contacts in a smaller area that's neighboring these big metropolitan areas.
You get that?
Well, it's definitely not easy being in a small market. It can get frustrating at times in that we don't have the luxury of, having the people that like a Chicago market has and that. But our kind of like our thing is that we take a lot of pride in what we do, and we just keep rocking. We just keep getting better at it, and we know that we're gonna
Stay persistent.
and get our what we've been working for and fighting for, and it's we just been consistent basically. That's it. And again, it hasn't been always great. It's always been owning a business is not always easy. It's ups and downs. But again, we've been consistent, and the folks, the community has shown a lot of support, and it seems like the support's getting stronger. And we're growing. So we feel confident. We feel good.
Yeah, I imagine as time's gone on, and you can only get more known, right? Especially in a
If you
in a
stick
town
with something
here.
long enough, you may just get good at it.
Yeah,
That
right.
type of mentality.
It only takes a few years.
Right. That's the problem. I think so many people just kind of get discouraged and drop in this profession, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of get discouraged and then maybe just kind of like fade out and go on to something that makes money for sure. Because it's not a for sure. You got to work for
we
getting
definitely-
gigs and all that. They don't just land on your doorstep.
No. Well, she's really good at marketing. marketing major, so that helps. And a graphic designer and all that stuff. So teamwork is definitely something that
Well, I went back to school actually.
for any business.
Yeah, I learned a ton of stuff.
The more the merrier. But a funny story. I started DJing actually in Washington Junior High. I was. They needed a volunteer for the school dances, and I raised my hand. And my teacher showed me a few things, a few hookups, some 101 engineering stuff, and I kind of took it from there. So, it's pretty much been a Kenosha thing for us.
So like the schools essentially have supported you from middle school up into your career now.
Yeah, to be honest, they hire us now.
We just went to Parkside over the weekend.
Parkside, K-Tech,
We do, yeah.
I wonder how that is.
It's full circle moment, right?
I wonder how that is as alumni, because you're not just.
Yeah, the other day we did an event for one of his old teachers, and she was talking to him like he was a student still. Almost. Like, it was kind of cute.
It was a great experience. It was a great feeing, man.
So how does it feel to give back to Kenosha in that way? Because it sounds like you've worked through the 90s. You worked connections. You got started in schools, and now, in a sense, you're giving back to the community that's raised you up as well. How does that feel for you?
The way that you put that is pretty cool. I never really even thought about it. Like, you're just so busy sometimes that you don't even stop to think about that really ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty neat though.
Yeah, we just keep working. I mean, it does
thought.
put a smile on my face sometimes. When people that when they are genuinely happy because of an event that we throw.
Yeah.
So that's always my first taste of that was in Washington. I started playing music, and the energy is something about that energy, man. That's one of the main reasons why we do it, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you happiness to see other folks enjoy themselves, and you
can never have a bad day at work.
that
your job is to make people
they're
happy.
vibing because of what you chose to play, and the way you're mixing.
Yep.
So it feels great.
Very satisfying.
Wow.
Yep.
I just find one thing I find amazing is that it started in school. That's, you don't always hear that dream story of, a teacher got you into something, you volunteered, and then it became your career.
That's pretty neat.
That sounds amazing. Looking ahead for Kenosha, what do you see in Kenosha's future?
You want to take this one first?
I'll say the short answer of I'd love to see more events, more awesome events.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the downtown's definitely growing, and I hear that I've seen some plans for some really cool stuff.
In the Brass neighborhood, maybe.
I think that downtown Kenosha is gonna eventually.
I want to see the uptown area revitalized.
Yeah, we would like to see the uptown for sure.
For the people that live there, not for people that they want to raise the rent and bring people in.
Mm-hmm. So keeping the
Keep
area for the people that live there.
Yes. Beautify the uptown. I would love that.
Yeah, for sure. United Cities.
Like they do downtown.
Absolutely.
So revitalized uptown. From what I saw, more diverse nightlife, more events.
Yep.
What events? I know Kenosha has a lot of community-esque events. What ones have you enjoyed so far?
We love Lincoln Park Live.
Lincoln Park Live is awesome.
That's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Peanut Butter Jam is pretty cool.
Peanut Jam is cool too.
Especially when they have the reggae bands. We love that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Any mid-resident production event.
He likes to make a joke. He says that Kenosha events they have two genres, country and western.
No, they got blues now too.
And y'all are helping diversify.
Yeah, we're
right?
trying so hard.
Yep. Hey, not that I got anything against country or western. I love
they
them
got
both.
some good tracks too.
I love them both.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's great just to see, looking ahead for Kenosha's future for you all. And is that the same future, you wish for your kids? They're a bit older now, but is that the future you wish for your kids as well?
Yeah, our kids are actually a big part of our business.
Yeah,
our kids, we actually had kids young. I was 17, he was 16.
Okay.
And so our kids are 22, 20, and 16. So they're a big part of our business.
Absolutely.
They actually, we wouldn't have been able to grow without their help. they help us big time.
Actually, our oldest one did that.
And family members too.
The Parkside gig over the weekend, yeah. We already got him out there.
So it's a whole family
family
affair.
business.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Even the little cousins come and help us, and his brothers come and help sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That is awesome.
Yep.
So, if there's anything you'd like to say to the Kenosha community, Kenosha leadership, or anything that we've just missed, throughout this conversation, what would that be?
Go ahead. Go first. I'll go
That's a
after you.
loaded question. What would I like to say to the leadership of Kenosha? I don't know. What do you think? Give me some ideas here.
Well, I think that, first of all, hats off. It's a beautiful city. The leadership, there's good leaders in Kenosha. Like to see more folks united. It seems like the last couple of years there's been some
a little bit of division in Kenosha.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we need our leaders to stand up and then just unite the city.
That's a good answer. I like that one.
Right.
Be a little bit more verbal and getting people together. Maybe have more activities or events of their own that bring people together instead of just community members throwing all these events. Mm-hmm. Get involved more with events.
Programs like for me, the Boys and Girls Club are very important. Yeah. Stuff for the kids. I personally want to see a community music. We always said a music cafe. We want to open it eventually. That's in the near future. That's one of our goals. Mm-hmm. We want to open a music cafe that's open and available for free for young kids who want to do things like DJing, mm-hmm. or who has never had the ability or the access to pick up a guitar. Mm-hmm. I know Fusion's doing a phenomenal job.
Oh, yeah.
And so is the Kenosha Creative Space. Yep. They're doing a really good job. We just we want to add to that, and we would like to see something. Again, going back to hip hop culture or old school Latin freestyle culture and that type of stuff.
Throwbacks.
Something that's more, we're doing a good job, but we need a few more spots like that for our youth, so we can, because you never know, you could have the next Bad Boy Bill. I think Bad Boy Bill is from somewhere around here. The next great DJ or what have you. So that I would like, or even rappers. Mm-hmm. Some of our
a lot of talented kids.
We know a lot of talented kids. Yep. And some of them don't have a place to.
They're just looking for a
display that
an
talent.
outlet. Yeah, an outlet.
You know what I mean? So that would definitely be something that we're gonna be helping with in the near future. But keep that up for sure. Again, hats off to Fusion and Creative Space and those type of places. We like those for sure.
Yeah. So something you'd like to say is more community areas to help develop even more creative talents is what that sounds like to me. Does that sound about right?
Totally. Mm-hmm. Relationships and
absolutely. Yeah, community relationship is very, very important. I feel like sometimes the community doesn't relate with the city or the police department and that type of thing. So that's very important. I know they try to do a good job and they're getting better at it and that. I know a couple guys in the force that I know they do a good job over there. But that's very important. That's something that they need to definitely focus on.
Public relations.
Yeah, public relations with our community, Mm-hmm. We need to be able to relate with them and to be able to talk to them anytime we want to, the leaders and the what have you.
Yeah. So even just with that, really connecting with and communicating with each other. That's the big thing is they got to be able to communicate on the same level, right?
Absolutely.
So wow, that's really great to hear. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Other than that,
thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
It's been really awesome.
Absolutely, man.
We love what you guys are doing
here.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. It was very nice to meet you.
And it was a surprise that I got to come talk to you.
Well, I'm thankful for both of you being here. And again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.